Hello, we're here today with Jon Samson. Jon is the Executive Director of the Ag and Food Transport Group, which is a part of the American Trucking Association. Thanks for joining us, Jon, to talk about infrastructure at the ATA level. What would be their highest priorities in infrastructure spending?
I would say right now, and you touched on it, the infrastructure spending piece of it, how to actually pay for the bill. Right now, you're looking at a corporate tax rate increase to 28% that's coming out of the administration. There was a truck-only VMT language that was also dubbed the Cornyn tax that was proposed. These things are a non-starter. Of course, ATA and their members want something, a user fee to actually go towards and pay for the bill. And so that's going to be a big discussion. The other priority outside of funding has definitely been the Drive Safe Act, which would allow those that are 18 to 20-year-old drive in interstate commerce. As many are well aware, similar to the agriculture industry, the trucking industry has a massive driver shortage, and it's only been increased throughout this COVID process. And so this Drive Safe language with heavy requirements on both training and technology would allow those that are 18 to 20 to get into the field of trucking. And, this comes on the heels of many, I believe we have a similar average age of farmers that we do for truck drivers. And it's getting to the point where we're going to see a lot of retirements, and that driver shortage is just going to increase. And so we're doing our best to get those younger folks, younger drivers into the industry as quickly as possible, but as also as safely as possible.
As you talk to your members, other than the driver shortage, which obviously is a major pain point, what would they express to you as being the biggest issues or challenges that they see in delivering fertilizers or crops or food from an infrastructure perspective in our country?
I think, we talk about it and it really is a big issue, especially when you get down to the state and local level. But the condition of the roads and bridges is one big topic that everybody's concerned about. You do have this equipment, and if the roads and bridges that you're currently traveling on are not in good shape, that equipment tends to not last nearly as long as it's supposed to. So I would say the infrastructure out there. I also think, the focus on supply chain, ensuring that there's proper communication within that supply chain. We saw during COVID when the markets shifted, especially on the food service side. You have a supply chain breakdown where if you were going to the restaurant or the school, all of a sudden you don't have a market anymore. And so that was another big focus, is figuring out how we can make that supply chain a little bit more malleable. And that's been a pretty big focus over the past year.
What's the latest and greatest that you're hearing from ATA members in terms of solutions to solving congestion issues, especially in and around major metropolitan areas?
Right. And as ATA has a research arm, the ATRI Institute, and they come up with the top 10 bottlenecks every year. A lot of them are, as you say, around the urban areas. You look at Atlanta, you look at Chicago, you look at some of those larger areas, and it's a huge problem. And how do you go about fixing it? There's not really a great solution, but the one solution that we keep coming up with is you really need hours of service flexibility in order to make sure that you can, if you're getting into Atlanta around 9 a.m. or 5 p.m., that you're able to stop for a couple hours, let things filter out, and then continue through. Because you could spend 4 hours prior to Atlanta going 240 miles, and then you could spend 4 hours going through Atlanta, taking 4 hours to go 6 miles. And so we want to make sure that we're able to make the most efficient use of our time by having that hours of service flexibility as we move forward through those more congested areas.
Jon, I know you're covering a lot of issues. We could probably talk all day, but are there any hot topics or hot issues that we didn't cover that you would like to add to the conversation?
I would just say that, we've been focused on infrastructure. That's kind of the big play here for this week. It's not the perfect environment as we've seen through discussions between the administration and the Republican Party, and the Democrats and the Republican Party. And so we continue to attempt to facilitate some sort of bipartisanship that comes out of there. And that will play out over the next couple weeks, specifically on Wednesday, and then hopefully in commerce in the coming weeks.
Thank you very much. Jon Samson, Executive Director of the Ag and Food Transport Group of the American Trucking Associations. Thanks for your insights and all that you do to support the agriculture industry.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.